Hi there, how's it going today? Today we'll be going into Was Viktor Sarudi the Plainclothes Officer Part 3 in the Barry and Honey Sherman murder case. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because essentially Viktor Sarudi, he's a little bit of an entrepreneur. You might not know, but he has this thing called the Stump Shop. And what's so interesting about the Stump Shop is that he, with his amount of money, right? If you were to say, I don't know, to steal a watch from a very wealthy couple that could net you hundreds of thousands of dollars if you sold it on a legal resale, how much money could you spend and what would you spend it on? I don't know. That's just a hypothetical. I wouldn't know. I've never stolen like $1 million watch before. But what would be interesting is let's compare it to like this superhero cop named Viktor Sarudi. What would he do with the money to save millionaires from burglaries if he had the money? Like, if he was like some Batman figure, what would he do with it? You know? What would he do with his money? Like, if he had all this money and power, like, what would he do with it? Because we're trying to get into the mind of a superhero right now. And this is Viktor Sarudi. He's an officer with Division 53, and this is his stump shop. Now, if you don't know what a stump shop is, he sells stumps. These wooden stumps he's able to carve out and sell as furniture or like luxury art pieces and stuff. But the funny thing about that is, in order to do that, he does need a little bit of help. He needs a little bit of technological help, which he's very savvy with, right? What's this? Wood tools, home decor projects. Okay, that's cool. That's very creative. He's making epoxies with all these toys, fun with the kids, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, you check it out, and he's a very talented guy. What does he say? Whatever pops into my head, I share here. CNC laser and 3D printing stuff too. Now, this is why Viktor Sarudi is such a superhero cop. This is why I think Viktor Sarudi is a superhero cop. Because he would know, right? Because he has a 3D printer, he would know exactly how the Shermans were murdered. You see, the thing is, the Shermans initially were claimed to be a murder-suicide, but they had these thin ligature restraints on their necks, right, compressing down on them. So there were belts tied around their necks, but that thin ligature basically proved that they were murdered in a different way, and the murder-suicide theory was bullshit. But Viktor Sarudi, that's why he went to the house, right? He was so smart. He already had premonition. He already knew what was going to happen ahead of time. So the thing about Viktor Sarudi is, if you asked him, right, like, how did the Shermans die? Well, he has a 3D printer, and he also has a laser cutter, right? Actually, I look back in his timeline. He had the laser cutter before the 3D printer. So Viktor Sarudi could tell you, even with just a laser cutter, you could essentially cut out or trace out these plastic zip ties, probably some very thick plastic zip ties, to kill the Shermans. So if you know Viktor Sarudi, you should ask him, like, yo, like, I think you know what's up. I think you really, really know what's up. So I'm looking here, this is like the 7-View Chrysler. This is in Newmarket, I believe. I could be wrong. Where is this? Anyways, so Viktor Sarudi, he lives in Newmarket, right? So I'm just trying to get a better picture on him, because he's holding up this sign. It's kind of obscuring what car he bought. But based on this profile, it says, congratulations, Viktor Sarudi, on his purchase of his 2019 Ram 1500 Classic, which it got me so confused, right? Because of the Stump Shop and his Instagram videos and stuff like that. I actually went to the neighborhood, right? Because I looked at this neighborhood, and it has like this large circular, right? It's Memorial Circle. It has this kind of circular look to it. So I decided, okay, well, maybe let's see, what does a hero really look like? So because he lives in Newmarket, I believe he lives at Frank Stronach Park, 850 Memorial Circle. You'll see this here. You'll see this green power box, which is also in the video Viktor Sarudi released. Because as you see, in Viktor Sarudi's video, there was a school bus which dropped off his kid approximately around this area. So I don't know if Viktor Sarudi has, I don't know, let's say a Chrysler or a 1500 Classic, or whether he has a Ford F-150. whether he has a Ford F-150. And that's what I'm kind of wondering right now, really and truly. Because Viktor Sarudi, he also has, an Amazon page. And on his Amazon page, he's actually selling these car truck antennas. And as you see here, these car truck antennas are for a Ford F-150. Now, why would Viktor Sarudi want to hide what vehicle he's driving? I think there's a logical explanation for this, actually. Right? And again, you see here, this is the truck antennas he's selling. Truck antenna compatible with Ford F-150, 7-inch car replacement, whatever. Right? I would understand why, Viktor Sarudi might want to obscure what truck he's driving. I mean, that makes sense to me because when you really look at it, go to his sunshine list, right? Viktor Sarudi is a Division 53 officer. And what you see here is, in 2017, he was working as a plainclothes officer. So that's exactly what Kevin Donovan from the Toronto Star said. He said a plainclothes officer went to the Shermans and was in their driveway a day or two after they were murdered. Okay, so if Viktor Sarudi is an undercover cop, no, it makes perfect sense why, he would have, obscure the actual vehicle he's driving if he does, in fact, own a Ford F-150. But what's also very strange is not just this Ford F-150, if he, in fact, does live here, but is this vehicle, this darker vehicle. Because what Kevin Donovan also said in the Toronto Star is there was a dark-colored SUV that parked into the Sherman's driveway. And I'm guessing it wasn't this black truck. I'm guessing it wasn't a black truck. Hypothetically, it could have been a dark-colored SUV. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe Viktor Sarudi was driving his wife's car, and he was undercover, so he parked this car into the driveway of the Shermans. Right. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. So when it comes to this hero cop, I think I'm really getting into the mind state of what he's about. And, that stump shop, hypothetically speaking, I mean, if you were to steal $1 million watch, Viktor Sarudi would know that you could absolutely, if you have $100,000 from illegal resale, you could start up a small business. You might not have $1 million from a $1 million watch, but from the illegal resale, you could start a stump shop and you could start selling stumps and you could buy a laser printer and you could buy all this shit. Or a 3D printer. So he also has this For the Gram podcast, right? And let's take a listen here. Oh, wait, no, that's a picture. Hold up. 1 second. Right? Viktor Sarudi, let's just say this. He's a family man. Viktor Sarudi, he's a family man. When you see it, right? Like, he gets all gushy inside. And that's the thing. Like, you can say you're a family man, but until you really get in there and you really start, like, acting out on, that urge to be a family man, you're never going to know when you see one. You're never going to know. So that's what I find interesting, right? Like, the dad pants, the Hawaiian shirts, it doesn't lie. It never lies. So, okay. So just 1 second. Bear with me here, okay? Yeah. 1 second. So we talked about the antennas. He probably drives a Ford F-150. Oh, yeah. Okay. For the Gram podcast. Right, just one last second too. He has these this podcast. It's like a hustle bro, work culture bullshit. Conferences, meetups, and Mrs. Doubtfire. I don't know. I don't see what Mrs. Doubtfire has to do with hustle culture, but we're gonna see. We're gonna find out. Let's take a look here.
All right. Let's hop into before you sing the song, I want to tell you, I'm sure you haven't even listened to the last episode, but I gave you a run for your money on singing the mailbag song.
Okay.
I'm like I'm like the Italian Barry White, just so you know.
Who the hell is Barry White?
Sing the song.
Is he like a lead singer to one
Sing
of your
the
stupid
song.
bands?
Even Vic knows who Barry White is.
Was he in Scorpions? What was that? Is that a band that you listen to?
Yes, but he wasn't.
Here I go again on my own. Is he that guy? Does he sing that song?
That's David Coverdale.
See? You know everything.
That's David. The magician sings that song?
No, that's David Copperfield.
That guy's a good voice.
I just want to reiterate what I said earlier in this episode, that I am definitely smarter than you two guys.
More experience. That's true.
Anyways, come on, sing the song.
Dive into this week's.
So as you can see here, this is very personable, right? You can tell. Viktor Sarudi, he loves just a good laugh, you know? So, you know, his references are really funny. His cultural references, Barry White, Mrs. Doubtfire, you know, I don't really see what those references have to do with hustle culture. But you know what, Viktor Sarudi? I'll give you that one. Man, you really are a man of the people, and you're clearly a cultural commentator. Viktor Sarudi, Viktor Sarudi. Like, who wouldn't want to listen to the For the Gram podcast? You know, and it's so funny because the person that was on your channel, Victor, you brought him on, and then you acted like a total dick because essentially he was someone who actually had a business. He was probably making millions of dollars while you were making like what, a couple thousand off of your stumps, and like a total, you know, narcissistic, egotistic douchebag. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just you talked down to this man because he wouldn't give you a sponsor, and you want to talk about hustle culture. Meanwhile, you're doing shit like this. Anyways, so you know, I know, you know, I'm not gonna be the Joker, and I'm not gonna, or the Riddler. The Riddler's a good one. You know, I think, you know, if you are a superhero cop, right? If you really are a superhero cop, then maybe, for example, you know, you might want to cross-reference your photos and see what comes up. Because I think you love leaving little clues here and there. I think I'm not the only one. I think you and I both know who killed the Shermans, Victor. All right then. Have a good day.